Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verses 1 to 5.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Dhanam Damascha Yajñascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyamakrodha Tyaga Shantirapayshunam Daya Bhuteshvalo Luktvam Madhavam Hrirachapalam Teja Kshamadhriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata Dambho Darpobhimanascha Krodha Parushyamivacha Ajnanam Chabhijatasya Partha Sampadamasurim Daivi Sampadvimokshaya Nibandhaya Surimata Mashucha Sampadam Daivim Abhijatosi Pandava.
We have so far seen first 3 shlokas where he gives the 26 divine qualities. Like I said, this 26 doesn't mean that's the maximum. There is no more. There are quite a lot. He has already mentioned few in the 12th chapter and 13th chapter. So all these qualities again and again he emphasizes, because we need to strive to develop these qualities. Only to the extent we have these qualities can we establish ourselves in this knowledge of the self. And the more and more we establish ourselves in the knowledge of the self, these qualities start shining forth in us. So, now having discussed the divine qualities, he gets on to the demoniac. The demoniac qualities, when we study, it will look very familiar. See, first of all, Shastra itself functions like a mirror. You know, when you go and stand in front of the mirror, it reflects your personality. Now, if there is dirt on your face, the mirror will show it. There is no point getting angry with the mirror. We have to clean our face. Exactly like that, when we study the scriptures, wherever the cap fits, we have to wear it. We have to understand. See, I've heard from doctors, they said when they are studying the 4th year medicine, they are studying about many diseases. So apparently that time, they have this feeling every time they're studying a particular disease and the symptoms and all that, they have this feeling that they have got this disease. Because majority of the symptoms, what they say, we may have. But doesn't mean that we have those disease. But here, inside what is there, we can clearly see when we read the scripture. So, the more egoistic a person, he or she would be qualified as asura. The more the ego is dissolved, you qualify as divine. And majority of us have preserved this ego. And the ego works in its own intelligent way. It will say, I want to destroy the ego, and therefore I'm becoming religious. I'm following spiritual practices. So you will find that slowly this mind, this ego, will somehow deceive us and will strengthen itself. It's a very difficult thing. Ego will try to see its survival only. So the whole spiritual journey is to gain this knowledge, understand that we are not separate from the total, dissolve that ego. The more we dissolve, the more we become divine. So now let's get on to verse 4.
दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थ सम्पदमासुरीम्.
When he talks about the demonic qualities, in this shloka he just mentions only about 6 qualities. The first thing he says is dhambaha. Dhambaha means hypocrisy, ostentation. Very pronounced quality of a demoniac person. You know, when he talked about divine, first thing he said is fearlessness. Fearlessness, I explained to you, it means no samsara. Even if there is a drop of ego, ounce of ego, to that extent there will be fear in us. If we have conquered the ego totally, then there is no fear. So, as long as we have imagined ourselves to be separate from the total, there will be fear. Dvitiya bhayam bhavati. Dvitiya bhayam bhavati. Means what? From the duality, fear comes. Now, he started that with that quality when he talked about divine. When he talks about demoniac, first thing he says is ostentation, hypocritical behavior. You understand? Putting up a show, pretending to be someone great other than what you are. When he talked about divine person, he said straightforward, arjavam. In the case of demoniac, there is no arjavam. Yeah, we already discussed these things in detail. Ego needs the support of falsitude to survive. For the truth, no such thing is required. Truth will survive without any support. So, the more the person gives into these things, all this is required. So, you know, they get into all kinds of ostentation, pretense, putting up a show. In fact, many years ago, when I was going in the car for my class once, the radio was on. and it was during the Dashara time. So in Dashara time in Delhi, in many places they have this Ravana's effigy, which they burn on the 10th day. No? And somewhere in Indraprastha, there they had named the Ravana's effigy as show off. Just to create awareness. Like during Corona, we could have said Corona. All these has to be destroyed. So, in the radio, they said, somewhere in Indraprastha, somewhere, the Ravana's effigy was named as showing off, putting on a show more than who you are. Keeping something inside, showing something outside. Inside there is venom, but outside you are showing as if you really have so much of love and compassion and care. आपके लिए we are waiting. We've been waiting for you only. We were thinking about you and you've come. But inside they're thinking, my God, this fellow's come again. But externally, as if they took birth only to take care of you. So that's what he's saying. At all levels, material level, physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, at all levels. Externally, at the intellectual level, they show as if they have tremendous knowledge. They are full of ignorance. And at the emotional level, full of hatred, but pretending to be having love. No. At the material level, showing off as if they are more wealthy. And at the physical level also, they put on a show of simple living. Well, actually, they are not. So, all these, at all levels, spiritual level also, there will be so much of pretense. Ravana went as a sannyasi and then took away Masita. So, this is the typical quality, of a egoistic fellow. See, ego needs support. So, it will do all these kind of things. Fudging accounts to show that we are worthy more than what we are actually. All this happens. A show of distributing wealth, while actually they are not interested. This is typical quality. Hypocrisy, ostentation, no straightforwardness. And when they do that, they are fooling themselves. We think we are fooling others, but we are fooling us. See, when you live like that, there is so much of tension, pressure. But when you live a straightforward life, absolutely no pressure. You relax. Why you have to pretend more than who you are? When we read Ashtavakra Gita, Sage Ashtavakra beautifully talks about all these things. Forcefully controlling the mind, practicing external spirituality, while actually full of frustration, instead of increasing our awareness, we are doing all kinds of nonsense. So that's what he's saying. Ostentation, hypocrisy, double standard living, typical quality of a demoniac fellow. Demoniac doesn't mean like they show in the movies, you have those horns and teeth protruding, ugly looking creatures, mouth on the stomach, nothing like that. In fact, they may be better looking than you and me. In today's movies, if you see, you will actually fall in love with the villain. That fellow will have excellent body, good looking. In fact, many fellows were introduced as villains. Now they've become excellent heroes. Because they look better than the hero, So, demoniac doesn't mean these things. Inside is totally ulta. The ego wants to keep only, na? Why will it be interested in distributing? क्या होगा? मेरा future क्या होगा? What will happen to my children's future? So we want to hoard, but externally we say, I'm not interested in anything. We keep saying that Arati we do in the end of the puja. Om Jaya Jagadish Hare. We pray that. We sing that Arati song. And then one line comes. Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. Om Jai Jagadish Hare. After listening to this, if Bhagavan has to come, if he comes right in front of us and said, Tera tujhko arpan, you said, no, give it to me. You will say, I doubt whether you are real Bhagavan. Prove to me. You are not interested in giving. Simply we are singing. Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. If we really follow that bhav, we will sleep within few seconds when we hit the pillow at night. No tension, no stress, nothing. Swami Ramtirtha gives a beautiful example. He says, the color and form, the world, enters our eyes through the retina. But you'll never find the retina ever stressed. So he says we should be like the retina. All activities, everything should go through us. Perceptions, actions, emotions, thoughts, everything. But there should be no stress, no stress. When is that possible? Only when we have this bhav. Otherwise, it's not possible. So, divine person, very relaxed, truly divine. All the other fellows are not truly divine. They want the support of divinity to restore their ego. That's all. Somehow protect. So, ostentation, dambaha. Then, darpaha, next one, arrogance. Highly arrogant fellows, They look at themselves as superior. There is no one equal to them. They suffer from this superiority complex. See, in this universe, the beautiful thing is, we may lack certain things in certain areas, but in other areas, it is compensated. It is just that we don't see it. The problem is we don't see the wholeness. We don't see the holiness. We only see the whole, H-O-L-E. W-H-O-L-E we don't see. But the divine person sees it. They carnivorous animals, they will only eat meat. So they are given canine teeth, nails, etc. for that purpose. Nature has beautifully created everything. We are only failing to see it. So comparing and thinking I'm superior, arrogant, I have so much wealth, I'm born in this jati, I'm working as in this position. Everything is associated with that ego. Achievements, the power, everything. Suffering from absolute arrogance. Not understanding that everything in this universe are equally important. The hair inside your nose, that is also playing a role. Very important. Beautifully, John Milton says in his poem on his blindness, they also serve who stand and wait. You think they are useless fellows? No. Everything has its role to play. You may not recognize it. They also serve who stand and wait. No arrogance. In the YouTube, I saw one clip, very interesting clip. Various tennis matches, few shots were taken and then they were put together. They are showing how sometimes when some players, maybe they are losing the game, I don't know, they are getting frustrated, and the way they behave with that ball boy or ball girl, very arrogant, showing off, angry. The ball boys and ball girls, they are also doing their bit. Should be gentle to them. And also they show some clips where how certain great players, is one clip I saw of Nadal. The opponent is serving and Nadal is returning, and the ball by mistake goes and hits the girl who's standing next to the referee umpire. He quickly runs to her. He finds out, are you okay? He checks with her. He gives her a small kiss on the cheek. See, he is such a great player, Nadal. And the way he behaves, this is what we have to learn. Anybody can be a winner, loser, doesn't matter. Anybody can be a champion. Big deal. We have to learn from these things. Outstanding character. Similarly, Swamiji used to quote about Muhammad Ali. Apparently, Muhammad Ali was shopping in a supermarket, and he was, picking up things from the shelf. And by mistake, he, banged on the other fellow. He was a puny little fellow. So he turned and slapped, I believe, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali just shrugged his shoulders. He said, I'm sorry. And that fellow said, you got to be sorry, man, and gave him one more. And he left. Muhammad Ali didn't do anything, he also left slowly. Some journalist was there who knew that it was Muhammad Ali. And next day he reported this in the newspaper. And Swamiji says, if this fellow had seen that article, he would have fainted there. All that Muhammad Ali should have done is just said, excuse me, my name is Muhammad Ali. He would have fainted there only. No showing off, nothing. If he just sneezed also, the fellow would have died. No need to give punch and all. No showing off, nothing. Mr. E. Sridharan, the main person behind Delhi Metro, many years ago, when Swamiji was lecturing, he had come. He was sitting somewhere in between. Somebody told me, Mr. E. Sridharan is sitting there. A lot of seats were vacant in the front. The lecture is only about, it's at 6:30, so it was only about 6:10. People were slowly coming. So I went and told Mr. Sridharan, please come in the front. He said, it's okay, I'll sit here. No showing of nothing. So when we come across such experiences in life, we should reflect on these qualities. Big deal if we know Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and lecture and thousands of people attending. So what? So, arrogance. You're only a ball boy. Getting irritated with that fellow, poor fellow. Absolutely only thinking about oneself. That's why he's saying next quality. Abhimanaha, self-conceit. Too much opinion about themselves, exaggerated opinion about oneself. There is no real intellect. There is no buddhi. Einstein, he is telling, what is my knowledge compared to my ignorance? And we are displaying our degrees. Madness, Ego manifests in three ways. I alone exist. I am supreme. I am the doer. In everything, they want to be highlighted. In everything. There is, the other fellow doesn't exist. Only I. This is the madness. Self-conceit. Thinking only about themselves. See, sometimes we say, what will he think? What will she think? Oh, she's thinking about me like this. They have no time. Because they are also thinking like this. Others are thinking about me like this. Everybody is thinking like this, which means nobody is actually thinking about the others. But we are all thinking as if the whole world is 24/7 is only thinking about us. Nobody has time for this. Go and see in every metro station how everybody is so busy, caught up in their own world. Who's having time to think about this? Hardly any time. Self-conceit. Too much. All the time thinking about oneself. I know. I'm supreme. I alone exist. No concern for others. I'm supreme. What do you know? I know everything. That egoistic attitude and then egocentric desire. From the egocentric desire, anger comes. Krodha, next quality. When the desire is interrupted, you get angry. So, anybody says anything against you, there is no pausing and thinking whether there is some meaning in what they're saying. Immediately, typical demoniac quality. Anger. In every situation, they get angry. They don't understand that anger actually destroys themselves. They are thinking they are destroying others. They are fools. So, this is being denied, that is being full of frustration actually inside. It's very, there's no way you can communicate to them because they're closed. Parushyam, harshness. Easily they'll speak certain words. There is no problem hurting anybody. Sometimes we are invited to give talks in certain companies. And in certain companies, we go regularly also, like once a month, once a week, etc. So I know many of them there. I've seen myself, I've heard myself. The language used by the people at the top or the people who are working under them, unbelievable words. It's become a fashion. Harshness. There is some deep frustration is there. And I know, and we have to learn. We have right only to criticize their work. We have no right to criticize the worker. The words they use is unbelievable. And they are all highly qualified, some of them. What is the use of those qualifications? See, when you have too many desires, your desires will not be fulfilled. First of all, no desire will be fulfilled. It will only be fulfilled when you work for a higher goal. You see how slowly you will feel contented. The fellows who are all the time working only for the fulfillment of desires, there will be a lot of frustration and repression. So that will come out like this in many situations. Harshness. See, in Othello play, Othello doubts his wife, Desdemona. Shakespeare portrays the character Desdemona as not only beautiful externally, physically, but internally she is such a pure, beautiful person. This fellow is a passively good guy, Othello, unthinking. He falls and he starts, imagining certain things. He develops doubts. And then he uses a certain word. She can't repeat it. She's saying, am I that name, Iago? She's asking Iago, am I that name? Am I that name? He is asking which name? She can't repeat. She's so pure. She's so gentle. She can't say that. Iago's wife, Emilia, she says, he called her so and so. What Shakespeare is trying to show there is, when you evolve to a certain height, even at a highly, what do you call, even when you are in a situation where people are using all kinds of derogatory terms and this and that, it's impossible you can have hatred, you can have such harshness for anybody. Impossible. If you evolve to that height. Otherwise, very easily it will go. Harshness. You know who I am, you know what I can do, I'll show you. And then all kinds of things. It's coming from deep frustration. So that's what he's saying. No. If your inside is full, harshness cannot come out. When the inside is lacking, then all the harshness and everything comes out. That's what happens. So when you see some people doing like this, we should see, okay, there's some frustration, poor fellow. That's why he's behaving like this. Parusha, harshness, rough. Next one, ajnana, ignorance. Totally overpowered by tamas. The demonic fellow is rooted in ignorance. No idea about Atma, Brahman, higher values, nothing. So that is one typical quality, he says, ajnanam. You know what is ajnanam? The height of ajnanam is thinking that I know everything. That's what happens in ajnanam. You are in height of ajnanam, ignorance. You think I know everything. You go and talk to the fellow who is actually an authority in that field. Maybe he's written a few books also on it. You ask him something. I don't know, maybe he'll talk like this. So he is knowledgeable, he knows. But he is not talking like how an ignorant fellow talks. An ignorant fellow talks differently. I know. Take it from me. Full of ignorance. And from the ignorance, what comes? Desires. That's the root. The moment I don't know who I am, and I think as a result of it, I'm somebody else. I imagine myself to be somebody else. The individual, the limited person. The moment I think I'm limited, my thoughts run into the world outside to fulfill my limitations. That's called desires. No. And going on entertaining so much desires, it will not be fulfilled. So you'll be constantly agitated. Endless desires, agitations. That is typical demoniac person. All the time suffering from sorrow, complaining. So he is only given few demoniac qualities. He'll talk a little later about the demoniac fellow a little more. But in this verse, he's only giving these 6. So when we read all these things, if you are really honest. We so far have been thinking that we are a divine force, divine person. But when we were studying 26 divine qualities, none of them were resonating with us that much. But when we just studied 6 qualities, minimum one, in fact, maybe all 6, resonating with us. So we should not get disheartened. At least when we become aware, we should congratulate ourselves. Half battle is won. Now I at least know what is the cause. So when you go to the doctor, after you give him all the symptoms and everything, he wants to, maybe rule out certain things. He will do certain tests, this, that, everything. But in all the tests, nothing is coming out. But you are suffering seriously. And he is not able to find out what the cause is. The doctor will be more agitated, disturbed. But when the doctor finds out, supposing in one of the tests it comes out, then he knows this is the problem. He will be happy because he can prescribe medicine. Now, when he is not able to diagnose what your problem is, how he can give medicines? So, when we come to know that I am in this area, we should not get disheartened. We should say, thank you, at least now I know where I am. So, from here, let me work and move on. It's all right. At least I have to set the direction. See, the most important thing in life is setting the direction. The journey is important. Destination, you don't have to worry. If you continue in the journey consistently, you will have to reach the destination. So what is important is the journey. You set the direction and then forget about it. Continue walking. That's what he's saying. Once you have studied all this, put in effort to develop divine qualities. And as you strive and struggle to develop those qualities, you will see that slowly, that striving and struggling is really worthy. That's all it is. Next verse.
दैवी सम्पद्विमोक्षाय निबन्धायासुरीमता मा शुचः सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डव.
The divine nature is deemed for liberation. The demoniac for bondage. Grieve not. You are born of the divine nature, O Pandava. O Arjuna, Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, the divine nature is deemed for liberation. If you have divine qualities, Jnana Siddhi is possible in you, you can attain moksha. But if you are filled with demoniac qualities, you will remain in bondage. The funny part about, not funny, the thing about this bondage is, we won't even know that we are bound. We are bound, but we think I'm free. So that's what he's saying. The demoniac is deemed for bondage, mental agitation, increasing more and more vasanas, desires, stressed, strained, depressed, frustrated. All this will be the outcome for a demoniac fellow. And then he's immediately telling Arjuna, grieve not. You are born of divine nature. He's reassuring Arjuna, don't worry, you have divine qualities, Arjuna. See, it's a psychological prop he's giving. Genuinely also Arjuna is a relatively good fellow. But, you need that fillip, that encouragement. Otherwise, it's easy to give up. See, it's not like in the material world. You get the results immediately. In the material world, the results come relatively easy. In the spiritual field, it's not like that. You find people so many years putting in effort, and after 30 years, 40 years, still getting angry. Hey, what is the point? This fellow has been in this field for so many years and he's lost it. You think it's waste. Working to conquer your mind is not easy. So he says, frustration may set in and you may give it up. So he's encouraging. You are divine, don't worry. It's an encouragement that everybody requires. You appreciate, make the fellow get motivated to keep moving, you're doing fine. So in that way, he is saying the divine nature is deemed for liberation. See, deemed for liberation in the sense, in the divine person only, jnana siddhi can happen. Knowledge can come, get established. Without divine qualities, if you keep on listening, nothing will happen. So to some extent, you should have some good qualities. Otherwise, difficult. All the demonic qualities are fit for bondage only. Because it's rooted in the ego. I. So you will be bound. And then immediately he says, grieve not. You are born of divine nature. See, now you are born of divine nature means what? You are blessed. But you have to do tapas now. To make use of it. Otherwise, what's the point? Huh? Many of us also get these things. What are we doing with those qualities? We'll go. It is so, it's not easy in today's world. Everybody has their own compulsions, family. So many issues are there. In all this struggle, they say, okay, I want to go to the ashram for a week. It's not easy, honestly. And they somehow make it. Come for a week or 10 days. Really tough. They've tried and they've succeeded. After coming there, in the ashram, you're sitting and gossiping about the world. Iran, America war. Judging who is right, who is wrong. What is it? I mean, you gone all the way from how? And then we do this. Huh? What are we doing? We're wasting the effort. Having gone there, okay, that doesn't mean all the time only Atman, Brahman, Brahman. Once in a while, casually, you keep talking about that. That's okay. That's why he's saying, when you say you're born of divine quality, means what? Use karo. Put that into proper use. Not relax. Oh, I am divine. Take it. Shri Krishna himself has said, I am fine. No problem. Your fine means you better put in effort now. Strive. That's what it means. You're born of divine nature, O Pandava. Don't fall into tamas. Don't stagnate. Don't throw away the opportunity. We all do that. Throw away the opportunity. Not knowing. No. Coming closer to Guru's Sannadhi is not easy. Having come, we may waste it. Not learn anything. You have to understand that I've got this opportunity. Whatever may be the reason, I've got the opportunity. I am a divine person now. So what am I supposed to do? With that quality, I have to put in effort and try to gain that knowledge more, rather than stagnating. Majority stagnates. In fact, we should always drop the comfort zone, and only will grow. So, Shri Krishna, from one angle, he is assuring Arjuna, you are born of divine quality. And from the other angle, he is also telling that don't throw it away. You understand? We'll do one more sloka.
द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन् दैव आसुर एव च दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु.
The two created beings in this world, are the divine and the demoniac. All of us come under these two categories. That's what he's saying. Each one of us will fit into these two categories, the divine and the demoniac. The divine has been described in detail. I spoke about divine in detail. Now listen to me about demoniac. See, till we get established, we can't relax. It's a problem. So therefore, he wants to talk about the demoniac more to not slip. We can slip. We could have done tapas for few years and we slip. Then again you have to do tapas. That's what the story of Vishwamitra is showing. It is not like he has lost it. He purposely does it to educate us. So, it's very important to fan the spark. We have got the spark, but we got to keep on fanning the spark. Only then it will become a conflagration. So he says the divine has been described in detail. Hear from me, O Partha, the demoniac. Daivo Vistarasha Prokta Asura Partha Meshrunu. O Partha, O Arjuna, now listen about Asura. Means what? Sura means good. Asura means demoniac fellow. Now listen about demoniac fellows. And he continues, which we'll see next week. Let's conclude. Om Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.